Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I have a book that I just read. It's called Wild at Heart, Discovering the Secret of a Man's Soul by John Eldredge. And this was given to me when I was in hunting camp with a man who was a hunting guide. And he was explaining to me that if you are a man or a young man growing into be a man or a mother of boys who want to be men, that this is an excellent book to read. He felt like it was very profound in his life. He wanted me to read it, and he wanted me to pass it on to my son. So I'm highly recommending Wild at Heart. Men need a deep understanding of why they long for adventures, for battle, for excitement, and they need to, he calls it the safari of the heart. And that they want to find a life full of freedom, passion, and adventure. And that much of our society doesn't encourage that sort of development in men anymore. And that's why this book is very interesting. And it talks about that inside the heart of a man is a hunger that's essential to the soul to figure out, do you have what it takes? Who am I? What am I made of? And what am I destined for? And that these have been unanswered and aren't always encouraged for personal growth in our society anymore. So this book was very good. He says that there inside your soul, there is a battle to be fought, and there's a place for the warrior to come alive, that he wants to be honed, trained, and seasoned to really become a true man in his own heart. John Eldredge tells us to look at the men we know. Are they full of passion, and do they fight well? Do the women adore them and feel safe? Do the children feel radiant and that they're being affirmed, that they're truly loved and being developed and accepted for who they are? And that's one of the ways that you can discover if you're finding your wild at heart, and if you're truly finding the person inside of your soul. And he compares it to a stallion, and he says a stallion is hard to tame, and if you want a quieter animal, then you would castrate him, but then he doesn't have the heart of a stallion, and then he can't perform and with the strength of a stallion, and that's possibly what is happening in our society. So John Eldredge recommends that you love with abandon, you stop waiting for others to love you first, that you live the life of the adventure that you're meant to live in your life, and you ask yourself, am I doing what I love? Does this make me feel alive? And if it does, then that's what you should do. So I highly recommend Wild at Heart. I thought it was very well written, and it helps me to understand what it takes to be a man, because a woman can't truly understand, and sometimes the men don't understand themselves. So this was a very profound book. So I'm glad that PJ recommended it to me. I'm glad that I read it. I'm going to pass it to my son, and I hope that it helps him find the passion and the strength in his life that I know each of us is searching for. So look for Wild at Heart, and I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel, and have a wonderful day.